Morning, folks. I'm Dave Canterbury with Self-Reliance Outfitters in the Pathfinder School, and I'm back down here at the Pathfinder Outdoor Classroom today, and I wanted to talk to you about an event that we just had over the last 4 days, which was our National Pathfinder Youth Organization Skills Camp, and it was open to the first 25 children and one parent that signed up for the event. It was an absolutely free event to them. We gave them 90% of the kit that they used this weekend was provided by the National Pathfinder Youth Organization monies or by sponsors who donated gear for the event. And I'll kind of go over that with you. But what I wanted to show you was I wanted to show you the kit that these children had this weekend so that you could kind of see some of the ideas that we used, and maybe you could base some of your own kit on that you're building for your youth. So if you've got a youth that you want to take out in the woods, you want to build them a kit, you can get some ideas from this to help teach them different things about being a good woodsman and being a good outdoorsman or outdoors woman. And that's what we did this weekend. We did everything from basic survival skills to some pioneering and simple machines, all the way to shooting events like slingshots, archery, and BB guns. So we did a whole plethora of things over those last 4 days to teach children to be more self-reliant and self-confident in a woodland environment, have better teamwork, better leadership. All of those things are important. So we taught all of those skills. What I want to show you today is this kit, talk to you a little bit about what's in it, and talk to you a little about the sponsors, give them a bump for this event as well. But what's not included in this kit that's important is they were supposed to bring with them a water bottle, metal preferable. They were supposed to bring a backpack. They were supposed to bring a notebook and pens. Pretty much everything else they used this weekend, we provided them. It was provided to them on loan, and we got it back, depending on the project, or it was given to them in a kit like this, and they took it home with them when they left, as well as taking home a brand new slingshot in the package with ammo ready to go. So let's talk about this kit real fast. Okay, so we bundled all of this kit into a muslin bag, and that bag is a drawstring bag that you could use for collection of tinder materials, plants, leaves, anything that we were collecting over the weekend for different projects they could use that for in the end. So we put all of these items in that bag. So let's just kind of go through this in categories a little bit so that you can kind of relate to it easier. So let's talk about cutting tools first. The only cutting tool that they used all weekend was a Rough Rider Camp King Scout style knife. It has the single blade, it has an awl, it has a can opener and a bottle opener on it that can be used for lots of things. This is not a locking blade. And a lot of people would say, well, why would you give a kid a non-locking blade? To teach them how to use traditional tools, how useful they can be, and to teach them the respect for the tool itself, so that they understand how to properly use it, properly open and close it, properly store it, and properly care for it during that weekend. There's not a whole lot you can't do with a decent pocket knife. Belt knives are overrated in a lot of cases, in my opinion. And if you've got a good folding knife, you can do a whole lot of stuff with that. If you combine that with a saw or even a small hatchet, you can do anything you need to do, all right? So that was the first thing they got, was a folding knife sponsored by Smoky Mountain Knife Works, a Rough Rider brand Camp King. For fire starting, from Yuko, they got waterproof matches, storm matches. From Self-Reliance Outfitters, they got a Pathfinder Bic lighter, Mini Inferno to give them a waterproof option, and a Fresnel lens. My belief is, a lot of people are going to say, matches, I thought you didn't like matches. It has nothing to do with whether I like matches or not. What it has to do with is what's easy for children. And matches are easier for children than ferrocerium rods 99% of the time. I also believe in teaching children traditional values and old school ways. And if you look at pack lists from people like Horace Kephart, Hyatt Verrill, Hamilton Gibson, Nessmuk, all of them, the one thing that they have for fire starting the majority of the time is matches. Now, they didn't have lighters, they didn't have ferrocerium rods, that's a gimme. But the fact that they generally only carried one thing in their kit to start fire tells you that they were either very, very good at starting fires, or matches will do the trick 90% of the time if you know what you're doing. So we used matches this weekend instead of ferrocerium rods. Now, when it came to shelter, they were given an orange poncho with grommets all the way around, a ripstop orange poncho. They were given 6 hexagon aluminum tent stakes to go with that as a shelter system or also rain coverage. And then we gave them 2 pieces of cordage to go with the shelter. Basically, one is a 6-foot utility cord for the pocket. We taught them all of those uses for the utility cord. And we gave them an 8-foot piece of 5/16 braided nylon rope to practice knots in our knot corral. We issued them about 4 ridge lines and worked as teams to build shelters. That's why they didn't get a ridge line of their own. They built a ridge line, got taught how to build a ridge line, and we used those ridge lines as teams to practice shelters. There wasn't no reason for them to carry that much cordage all weekend with them, all right? Now, cotton material, let's go to that real quick, all right? We gave them 2 bandanas that were 100% cotton. One of them is sponsored by Wazoo Survival, and it is the bandana with the wild edibles and medicinal plants that are common to this latitude pretty much throughout the world. Very, very good option, and again, nice 100% cotton bandana. We also gave them an orange bandana sponsored by Waterford Press, who also sponsored these pamphlets we'll talk about in a minute. And this basically just shows you different uses or 10 uses for a bandana in the woods, but it's a large orange cotton bandana, oversized bandana. And then we gave them an orange shemagh as well to use for waypoint markers, things like that during navigation. We gave them a orienteering style compass from Rothko. Every student got one of these. It's not the greatest compass in the world, but it's a great starter compass, and it's only about 20 bucks. So it's a good option to teach your child orienteering, okay? They got a new Energizer headlight with batteries. They got a signal mirror that they could use for hygiene, first aid, and signaling, as well as the mirror on the compass. But just to show them the different uses, because there are limitations with a mirror on a compass for signaling because of the housing all the way around it when you're talking 270 directional signaling. They got one book that's called Pond Life. And the reason they got this book is because this was my favorite book growing up. It tells you all about life around ponds, mammals, amphibians, reptiles, plants, different types of microorganisms that live in the water. All of those type things are covered in this book. It's not an expensive book, but it's a really, really good book. Okay, so they got this book as well. And then they got pamphlets by Waterford Press that are waterproof for animal tracks, wild edibles, eastern trees, and mammals, all right? Because we did a lot of naturalist type exercises as well during the week. We actually cast some tracks and things like that, talked about tracks, talked about identifying tracks, talked about identifying animal skulls, and all those things. So these pamphlets came in really handy for them. And then they also got a Pathfinder sticker. So all of this stuff that we gave them was free to them. Every kid that signed up for the course got a package with this stuff in it, as well as a brand new slingshot. And again, we appreciate the sponsors that we had for this event. UCO, Smoky Mountain Knife Works, Self-Reliance Outfitters, Wazoo Survival, Waterford Press. Great, great sponsors. And I've been working with all those companies for a very, very long time. Now, quite obviously, this is not an all-inclusive kit, but it does have the mainstay items in it for a small backpack or a haversack to get your child or get any youth out in the woods, get them practicing skills. Obviously, they need a water bottle. They were to bring that with them. They need a backpack to store it in. They were to bring that with them, and they brought gloves with them as well. Other than that, we gave them just about everything they need to go out and explore the woods safely, have a good time, and have an educational experience. And I think that's what the most important thing is now, is to educate our youth in how to be confident in a wilderness environment, how to respect the land, understand how things work, and understand how to better care for our environment so it's there for future generations. And that's what we do here at the National Pathfinder Youth Organization. If you're interested in the National Pathfinder Youth Organization, you can hit me up directly at pathfindersurvival@gmail.com. I'm going to start a Facebook page pretty soon. I had one pre-COVID, and I kind of let it lapse up a little bit and hasn't been posted to a lot. Now that we're starting to have events again, I'll get that thing going, and you can check out that Facebook page. But for the time being, the Pathfinder Learning Center on Facebook has lots and lots of pictures on it from this past weekend's event, lots of comments from parents that were there that will kind of give you a feel for it, and you can ask questions there if you'd like. Our next event, we'll have 2 next year. There'll probably be one at the beginning of the summer and one at the end of the summer. And again, they'll be limited to the first 25 kids that sign up with their parents. What I would warn you is if you sign up and you take a spot, make sure that you use it, because we did have a couple people that did not show up this weekend that had reserved spots for themselves and their child. And what that did was it eliminated someone else from being able to take the training this weekend, because I turned several people away in the last couple months because the event was full. So if you're going to sign up, I don't charge people for signing up. I don't charge any kind of a retainer or a deposit or anything like that. It's just take you at your word. You're going to be here. You're going to be here. So make sure if you do take a spot, you bring your child when the time comes, or at least message me a couple weeks in advance saying that you can't come or you're not coming, so that I can offer that opportunity to someone else. I appreciate your views. I appreciate your support. I thank you for everything you do for our school, for our family, for our business, for all of our sponsors, instructors, affiliates, and friends, and for the National Pathfinder Youth Organization in general. I'll be back to another video as soon as I can, guys. I appreciate your time.